Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Party Makes Things Worse, The Prince of Charming.
It's incredible.
This is a Monster of the Week actual play live stream / podcast that we want to thank you for tuning in and listening to. I'm your host, Spencer Mayo. And by host, I of course mean the keeper of monsters and mysteries. I will be playing everybody that our party here is not playing. I will be crafting mysteries and putting them into perilous situations. So that is my introduction. I'm going to go down the line. Everybody just introduce yourselves, and then we'll do character introductions a bit later on. So first things first, we have... I don't know what it looks like on our end.
I can go around the YouTube one, and so unfortunately everybody's names will be spoiled. So looking at the YouTube, I have Michael top left, me top right, Stefan bottom left, Nicole bottom right. So we can go in that order. Nicole, you are not there by rank of importance. You are the only one who is a still picture, and so it doesn't really matter that you're tucked in the corner. So the order could be Michael, then me, then Stefan, and then Nicole.
That's fine. Go ahead. Take it away.
Cool. Hello. My name is Michael Mayo. I'm here.
Underselling. You may recognize Michael Mayo from his show on our network, Game Masters of Games. Give yourself a pat on the back. That show's fun.
Yes, it is.
My name is Ethan. I occasionally run some of our one shots and scheduling conflicts. I think that's the most important stuff.
All right, I'm Stefan, one of the other players of the group.
When's Stefan's
Yes.
show premiering? When's Stefan's show premiering? Go ahead.
And I'm Nicole, and I'm married to Spencer, so that's why I'm here.
Oh, stop.
And she loves games.
And she loves role-playing it. This is not... Nobody knows... None of you know the long-standing raid of trying to convince Nicole to admit that she likes games.
She's played hundreds of hours of role-playing games at this point. And beyond that, is an actress, and so role-plays all the time.
As a
And
job.
if it was all guys, it would be a little weird, you guys. So I'm
It
here for
would
you.
eventually it would be
for that.
It would
great.
get weird. So I'm here to help y'all out.
Our diversity hire is a blonde cheerleader. We're screwed, guys.
Not a good start. but
Everybody hang up the call right now. We have to have an emergency meeting.
So with all of us being introduced, it's time to introduce the world we're gonna be playing in. Welcome all to Charming, Mississippi, a quaint town of only 1,000 people, not including the small local college, Brightview. Here, you know the names of all your neighbors, and they certainly know yours. The locals recommend eating at Planet Pizza, hanging out at the Charming Mall, or getting the good word of the Lord at the local parish. Whatever your tastes, you can rest easy knowing that everything here is charming. So, with that out of the way, it is 1991, August. The hottest August on record, in fact. All of you are ranging from a set of ages here that I think is going to be a fun cross-section in charming Mississippi, but it's a very small place. So while we go around and introduce characters and do some small vignettes, we're going to need to get to the bottom of what you're doing in such a small, quaint town. If you're a local, if you're visiting, if you're on the hunt for something of import. With that in mind, I'm going to go in order that I see on Discord, which is Charles Kevinson. Charles, go ahead and introduce your character, and we're going to get into a bit of what you're doing here.
All right, Charles Kevinston is kind of like part of like a long line of one of the local families of Charming, and had a lot of extensive sort of like track and field training when he was growing up. So as far as like accents go, his will be very eclectically mixed from like all the influences of like distant parents and trainers brought in from around the world.
You know what's weird? He went to a boarding school in Virginia. That's so strange. He did it for his whole 12 years of education.
Yeah. And so like he's like the track and field guy at the Brightview College trying to like kind of like keep kids out of trouble, get them like the scholarships, like unlock their potential and all that. And tends to like go on lots of runs at nights. Usually sporting like a full like suit windbreaker kind of thing. And it's like this kind of caramel tan with little tufts of white to it.
Perfect. What class is Charles Kevinson playing as?
Playbook.
What
Actually,
playbook is Charles Kevinson?
Playbook. Okay. He is the monstrous. And so like especially more so within the past couple of weeks or so, I guess, he's been like he's a pretty tall, lanky kind of person, but kind of the way he stands, his posture and stuff is like the angles that his like limbs are at are usually a bit more unnerving, and usually kind of has one of those like the same material as the windbreaker kind of hats or caps that he's been keeping kind of like perpetually on his head.
Trying to keep something undercover, I see. So Charles Kevinson as a monstrous sounds like you primarily spend your days coaching the teams at Brightview. Is that where we find you right now, or are you on one of your nightly runs?
I think he's probably wrapped up that, and he's kind of like on one of his nightly runs now, and like basically just like he likes to go pretty quick down the roads and stuff, but like maybe like the faster and faster he goes, instead of like getting a runner's high, he gets like this runner's dread, where he feels like there's something like approaching him from behind, like his spine starts to tingle, his like neck kind of itches a little bit, and he just kind of keeps on running faster and faster until he's like completely exhausted.
so Charles' monstrous trait is generalized anxiety disorder. That's weird. All right, I didn't know
It's
you
that
got
adrenaline.
Do I get
that
superpowers at
adrenaline
some
pump.
point? What am I? That's fucked up.
Yeah, Charles, I'm gonna have you roll plus tough here really quick. I want to see how you're handling this run as your heart is beating faster and faster and faster. Your feet are hitting the ground at a rapider pace. Do you have feet?
I think for now I do, yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
for
no.
sure.
I'd hate for
Right.
now.
Yeah,
Wait,
like
what?
the way they the way they bend probably looks a little strange if like someone like was like focusing on
It's like
them.
a spring, yeah.
I
Yeah.
just don't like the idea of starting this whole thing off with, do you have feet? For now.
Just clip that.
Executive producer Quentin Tarantino.
Do you have feet?
Hit
by
me with
chance?
that feet question. What's up with those
Well-
toes, man?
That tough roll was only a 5.
A 5. You are used to running at this point, this daily routine, several miles, but you are running through a small suburb of Charming, and your heart starts beating faster and faster and faster. So fast, in fact, that you have to stop and you take a deep breath in, and you're looking around and you whip your head back and forth, and you swear there's something there. Something watching you, but it makes no sense. You're in essentially a McMansion section of the town. There's nothing
Shut up.
dangerous here. There's nothing going on. Nobody's actually hunting you. It's just the sort of game you play with yourself to make you run faster. But for whatever reason, it feels true here, right now.
Yeah, I like probably like crouch down, chug some water, and I'm like kind of like hiding against like a car, just like keeping my back secure and kind of like looking out like as I'm like kneeling on the ground, like on the sidewalk, just panting.
Yeah, you're tucked by Alexis, sipping, looking around. I think at this point you can either just get out of there, you can investigate further. What are you feeling?
I think just like beelining it like in a kind of like a different direction, maybe like even like running through a yard quickly just to like throw them off my trail.
Yeah, you arc around and you find that you are currently in a gated community called Shady Grove. You cut through in front of that gate, a wrought iron overhang above you that titles this area, and you bolt out of there. I think you get out of there no problem. You don't feel like you're being followed. As you get further away from this area, your heart starts to set a little bit more, and you quickly make your way back home. Something set you off in a bad way, but you really don't know what it was. We cut away from Charles Kevinson to Connor Connors. Connor Connors, go ahead and introduce your character. What do they look like? What are they about? And what's the playbook?
All right. It's Connor Connors. First off, I will let everyone know he is the professional. He is late 20s, early 30s. He is an FBI agent. He is not from around this area. He has actually been assigned this location as a new what would you call it? A new sub thing of FBI.
I'd say like a forward operator.
Yeah,
You're
forward
here
operator.
sort of on your own.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess technically, I think if you're in the FBI, you're a member of a task force, right? Because you wouldn't be a full branch, so you would be like a specialized task force made to accommodate a specific domestic threat. To be a branch, you'd be more like CIA. You'd be something that would be like executive and funded, and there'd be 12 of you in an office building. In the FBI, you're much more likely to be 5 dudes that they were like, "You're in charge of water now," and they're like, "What?"
Study water, get out of here. Investigate.
That's basically what it is. His higher ups watched a few too many scary movies and has sent Connor Connors out on a mission to find the monsters, which Connor Connors does not believe in at all. He drew the low stick, which is funny because a few people were very excited to go on this mission.
Connor Connors, you're part of the Gray Task Force. You're just sent out to look for various threats of questionable authenticity.
Exactly. His one lead is a Thomas Puck survived. Something that probably shouldn't have survived. He's not the best. He's not the most well-mannered man. He's not the best looking guy. But he is something that you want on your side in a fight. He's pretty strong and knows what he's doing. Plus, I just found out I can take a grenade launcher as one of my weapons.
That's the
If you pull up to charming Mississippi and you're like, "Don't worry, guys, I got this," they're going to lose their minds.
it's
I'm
the
not
whole
saying it, but
the fun of being the professional is being like, 1 second, you pull up to a big lockup, one of those like one of those storage facilities. I'm like, and it's like AKs. It's part of the fun of it, I guess.
true. Yeah. I think that's it.
How old is Connor Connors?
Exact age 30.
And how old is Charles Kevinson?
I'd say 38.
30, 38. Some solid ages.
I will also say he is undercover as a school janitor.
Undercover at Brightview College?
Uh-huh.
Absolutely he is. Absolutely he is.
And as one of his abilities, he does have mobility. So he does have a car that helps out a little bit.
Connor Connors. I'm going to call you Agent Connors from now on, so I don't have to double up on the Connor Connors. Agent Connors, does anyone in town know your true identity? Have you worked with the local constables at all, the sheriff? And by the local constables, I mean the one. It is just the sheriff. Have you talked to him? Does he know you're here? Are you operating completely in the gray? But
He got a letter from the FBI saying that there was someone. He does not know it's me. He just knows that there's an agent here.
He got that and thought it was a joke. That's a guarantee. He's like, yeah, okay. Okay, cool. So, Agent Connors, what are you doing today? Where do we find you? We're looking at nighttime at this point, so it's probably about 8 p.m., give or take, 8:30. What are you doing now?
So it's nighttime right now.
Yeah.
I'm outside Mr. Puck's house in my car, which has surveillance gear.
Yeah, so your surveillance van. It's got like flower shop printed on the side.
For the record, Thomas Puck is currently living in a like studio, so like a long-term hotel. Basically, he does not live in Charming.
I'm gonna say, Connor, Agent Connors, I think you should roll and investigate a mystery right now on Puck.
Damn it!
All right.
Alternatively, you could read a bad situation, but I don't think this is really a bad situation. You're just trying to get some intel.
All right, so that's sharp. So that is something kind of cool. Where was it?
Do you have a special ability as a professional?
Oh, I'm not. It's not. Shoot. I thought I was reading a bad situation, but I'm investigating a mystery.
Yeah.
On reading a bad situation, I can use cool instead of sharp.
Gotcha.
But
I mean, you
this is not
could
that.
potentially read a bad situation, but in this moment, you're
Mhm.
not really looking for a way to break in.
Nah.
You kind of know what the quote biggest threat is, so I think you're probably investigating.
Yeah. All right. So. All right, that is a 7.
A 7.
Do I get anything for my surveillance gear?
It allows you the ability to gather information without going inside this guy's
Got it.
rented out space. So you get to hold one, which means you can ask one of these questions. What happened here? What sort of creature is it? Some of these aren't going to make any sense. What can it do? What can hurt it? Where did it go? What was it going to do? What's being concealed here?
What's being concealed here?
With that, you have a small like jack hooked up on the side of this building, and you're listening in on an earpiece, and it goes. You tune it in a little bit more, and it evens out. And we jump to Thomas Puck. Thomas Puck, go ahead and describe yourself to us.
Sure thing. Thomas Puck is 28 years old. He is a pretty much perpetually an outdoor wear. He is in this pretty brightly colored, usually like a wind jacket and shorts that are 1991 ass short. Big hiking boots. He is in the local area under the guise of his real job. Thomas Puck writes hiking guides. That's what he does. He's one of the people. He like writes articles and sends them out to magazines, and that's his job. He is here under the guise of that. He is actually here investigating Charles Kevinson. That has recently come to a conclusion. It sounds like come to its conclusion off of what we talked about in session 0, and was for Thomas a little disappointing. Charles threw him off the scent of whatever it is that is going on with Charles, and so he thought that it was kind of a bum report, but has been hearing a lot of things locally, and so hasn't moved out of the area yet. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you wanted to, with the things that you've heard so far, I think that you could probably investigate a mystery. You don't have to hold these questions because they're a little bit too specific, but just to get some information, things that might have been going on in town, you could do that.
You know what would help me play a role-playing game on stream? Dice.
Dice would do it, yeah.
Dice would help if I can offer that critique of my own preparedness. I'm so sorry.
I think a better way for me to play this out while you're grabbing your dice is not investigate a mystery. Just roll plus sharp for me.
Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot what everybody else said in their intro. I am the searcher. I had a paranormal experience and now have spent my life pursuing anything and everything related to it that I can find. Rolling plus sharp. I play too much Dungeons and Dragons. I rolled 2d20 instead of 2d6.
I got a 32.
A 90.
What does that give me?
Yeah, exactly.
Super duper sharp.
I got a 10.
A 10. Wow. All right. With a 10.
Which is funny because for a searcher, my sharp is not that good. But
Oh no.
I do think you get to ask absolutely one of the investigative mystery questions. But before we do that, I'm going to give you some general background information for somebody who's keyed in on the occult ongoings of the world.
nice.
You have heard tell that somebody here has very recently gone missing. Like within the last day, somebody has up and disappeared. The police have taken down the report, but they haven't gone out to search yet because they are over the age of 18. This individual, Jane Doe, and has not been missing for more than like 24 hours. So this report came through. You had a call box that you were listening in on, and that alerted you to the fact that somebody has gone missing. Besides that, yeah, hottest August on record, hottest summer on record is strange. Everywhere around Charming, Mississippi is completely typical weather. So Charming is setting off all of your snooping senses 100%. A missing girl, weird weather patterns. It's coming up weird.
Okay. Good. I think I know the I'm starting to get a mental map of the conversation that Connor is going to overhear. Okay. And you said I can ask one of the investigative mystery questions. I guess I will ask it about Charles. Be as vague as you are sort of comfortable with. I think I'm gonna have to redact what we said in session 0, that I walked away disappointed. If I got this relatively good success, I'm gonna ask what can it do, and I think I have my answer already, but I'll open the floor up to you. What did Thomas see Charles do that convinced Thomas that he does have a lead here?
And that's a question for Charles, so take it away.
Yeah, I guess maybe he was like doing the pole vault, but like ended up like slipping and dropping the pole vault as he was leaping. So like to try to use the pole vault to cover his actual own leap, you noticed that like that I dropped it and like did the leap by myself, like without the addition of the
you let go too early, so it just fell down.
Yeah.
Useless as you leapt over it. Very
slept.
Cool.
I slipped out of your hand. I clearly watched the momentum like wobble instead of going forward, but you still cleared it. Okay, that's really good to know. So saw activity. I like that because it also gives me a good reason to not suspect that you are an insane kidnapping monster. Is that I showed up like, oh, maybe this is one of these like big things that I've keep hearing about, and then watched you do like a really far pole vault, and I was like, damn it, and threw my hands up and walked away like,
why is he out training right
son
now?
of a bitch. What? No, nobody who's killing people in the woods does fucking pole vault. Like, just wandered off. Okay, that's great to know. Yeah, is there anything else about my character you think I should include in this as far as like what he does, or you think is this surface level enough and we can kick on?
Did you give us your age? Perchance.
I did at the beginning. I'll say it one more time. Thomas is 28 years old. So he got done with school. He definitely didn't go to graduate school. He like did undergrad in probably like it's 1991. He wanted to do this probably in like journalism school with a minor in ecology because he wanted to write these hiking guides, and has moved on since then to bigger and better things. The phone call that I think Connor overhears, he hears the tail end of a phone call that Thomas is having with one of his network, one of the people that he talks to sometimes on the interwebs. He does have a very early laptop. This thing's a real brick, though. I looked up what we're working with, and it's rough. He has that whole setup where you take the phone off the receiver and like have to put it on to get internet, so it like is actually feeding off of the dial-up sounds. But he is just talking on the phone, and Connor, you hear the tail end of, no cattle deaths, none of the stuff that I'm usually seeing. It's just, well, let me say this, it is hot as shit. is terrible. They've had to fix the AC in my room 3 times, and I've only been here a month, and it's not like it's been that long. Other than that, I've got mostly reliable report that somebody went missing. Again, I don't know. I thought it might be this Charles guy, but I don't see it. He seems nice enough. He's a little bit of an odd fellow, but I don't think, if he is something, he's something boring. I don't think he's turning up the thermostat on the whole damn world or anything. So, well, if you hear anything, let me know. All right. I'll be back. It's 1991, so I have to tell you when I'll be back. I think I'll be back tomorrow around 6 p.m. As far as morning, I don't know when I'm leaving. If you can't get a hold of me here, I've been using the library at the school because they have internet, so I guess you could call there, and I might be there as well. But outside of that, I don't have the first idea. No, I'm not buying a cell phone. Do you have $200? Yeah, me either. All right, whatever. See you later. And he hangs up.
Thomas, can you roll me plus sharp real quick?
Yeah, sure. Seven. So
7.
mixed success.
You, as you go to hang up the phone, hear a bit of feedback, as if there's an electrical interference somewhere. You've used this phone several times in the past. That hasn't popped up. In this room, you've used it several times. So something is a bit strange.
Yeah.
It's not enough to really put your hackles up, but it's something.
Thomas will, unfortunately, we have a very big distinction in what Thomas will think is going on at any given time. So he reaches into his bag and pulls out a Ghostbusters ass EMF reader and flicks it on, and a little glow light starts to go as he starts to walk around, scanning the room for specters. He has scientific measuring tools and will walk around the room thinking that he is being visited by some supernatural something or other, giving up on it when he realizes eventually that the only thing the EMF reader's picking up on is the TV, which is still on and giving off some static. So he will eventually give up, assuming that he has found nothing. But he does suspect that his room is not particularly safe now, so I'll make a note of that.
We cut back to Connor. Connor, you hear the tail end of that conversation. What is your take on what you just heard? Cattle deaths, naming some person in town. What are you thinking is going on?
Moses is like, man, they didn't give you any information here. The higher ups don't know shit. I marked the name Charles, with it being like probably 200 Charles in this place.
Hey, it's only 1,000 people. There's not going to be too many Charleses.
Maybe there's like 50.
Pretty high pop. But yeah, you could get through the list. It'll take you a minute. That's for sure. There's at least probably a dozen.
It must be comforting to know that if you talk to 10 people every day, in 3 months, you'll have the town mapped. And that's,
oh yeah.
And you can probably get 15 or 20 some days. So that's not bad.
Yeah,
and
some of them are recluses and it's hard to track them down.
A good amount of them, and they don't count the college population as their populace. So there are more people, but they just come and go. They're more drifters than anything because they're students.
Yeah, and I marked down the cattle deaths and was like, and then check out farms ?
Yeah, he was saying, I'll clarify for you. Thomas said there wasn't any cattle deaths. It's just weird that it's super hot. He had a lead on somebody named Charles, and Charles ended up not panning out.
Okay,
but
so no Kyle death.
Yeah,
right.
but that something is going on.
Mark.
Cattle death? Question mark.
Healthy cattle.
I imagine as an investigator, like people are going missing, and then somebody is doing something impossible that has to do with their strength. You're like, oh shit. Are any cattle missing or any pets missing, right? You're assuming that somebody's eaten somebody. You've got some kind of skinwalker or something. And so it probably would be surprising to find out it's hot. Like,
it's weird.
It's a different set.
Werewolves don't make it hot out. You know what I mean?
One thing you got to know about werewolves, they do not make it hot out. Weirdly, if enough of them are in the same place, they make it a little colder. So I know this shit ain't no werewolf.
And I think it was, it's pretty hot as I'm sweating bullets.
Just dripping.
But I don't mark anything about that.
So it's
just hot.
August, Mississippi. The only thing I do need to know, do you mean like it's 98 and it's like, oh shit, bring a water bottle on your hike? Or do you mean it's like 103 and everyone's indoors? Like, where on the spectrum are we?
It's like right now at night, it's probably down below 100, but we're at like 101 during the day, 102 during the day. It is hot.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at the climatological surveys, it's an easy 5 degrees hotter here than it has been in any previous years.
Damn.
It's just wildly hot, consistently, for a month. It's been like that.
Somebody should tell that man I keep seeing on the TV, Al Gore, to come down here. He's got all these concerns about them other places. Woo! It is hot as hell.
So, Connor, you have a bit of information here from Thomas Puck. Not anything incriminating, but strange nonetheless.
If I can give you a southern saying for hotness.
Oh, yeah. Southern Safe for hotness. Go ahead.
It's hotter in here than 2 mud rats wrestling a tube sock.
Good great.
Yep. That's going to be the mayor. He's going to say that.
I went to college. I don't know if I can bring myself to say that. Jeepers.
We pull away from Connors observing Thomas Puck as he shares some information that's unsettling but not incriminating at all. And we move over across town to Jessica Fitch. Jessica, go ahead and introduce yourself. Talk about your playbook, your character, age, any important information. We'll jump into your scene.
Sure. Okay, so my character's named Jessica Fitch. She is the spooky. Also, what's it called? Playbook? Is that what it's called? Playbook.
Fitch
The
with a T?
Fitch.
Fitch.
Okay, let me
Yes.
change your name in the thing really quick. I thought it was Finch.
That was originally what I said, but Spencer said that Fitch is cooler, so...
Damn, okay, we're getting political.
Yeah, I don't know.
If any of our future viewers have the last name Finch, you can go fuck off, you boring name.
R.I.P.
Get out of here, nerd. We don't need your useless time-ins.
She is, I'm gonna go with like a 2021 kind of vibe. She's like a sophomore in college. She goes to, Everbright, question mark? Is that what it's called?
It is Brightview.
Brightview. Okay, see, that's rough. I got it confused with, don't get it twisted with, the Sims College.
Yeah.
Please do not get it confused with Sims 4. Not sponsored. But
Yet.
I had a strange psychic event where I was looking around and all my fellow monster hunters had green diamonds floating above their heads and there was a giant in the sky.
oh my god.
He wouldn't stop telling me to make macaroni and cheese.
And just autonomously doing push-ups. Just it's all gonna happen. Okay. But yes, she is a cheerleader, sophomore in college, and she truly did go to boarding high school. Okay, she did, and that's canon. She did. But she lives in the town of Charmin. She is from there. You know, her whole family lives there, but she did go away to school, but she spent her summers here, and she likes to party, as you know, as the cheerleader might in college. And she against her better judgment messed around with a Ouija board at a party. Whatever, it was no big deal, it was fine. But ever since she has been experiencing new abilities that she did not have before. And because of this, she has, become sort of, she's pulled back from some of her partying, and like she's missing cheer practice, and she doesn't know what's going on. She's kind of, she just doesn't want anyone to know what's happening because she doesn't know what's happening. Picture like a Chrissy situation. It's a pretty good parallel, I would say. A Chrissy situation. She doesn't want anyone to know weird things are happening to her, and she has powers, and she doesn't like it. And that's that.
So, Prissy, aka Jessica here.
Whoa.
Jessica is a spooky. So she does have some of those magical abilities, which will be coming up quite a bit, I think, in the coming sessions. What is she getting up to if she is sort of avoiding her practices and avoiding her friends? What is she doing in her spare time? Is she researching her abilities? Is she practicing, trying to get to the bottom of it? Or is she just trying to put up a big wall
She's
and
putting
stop
up
that?
a huge wall. She is trying to go to these practices, but then, it always ends up with someone gets hurt or something happens. She can't control what's going on. And so she, her friends are kind of at a distance. She's more angry. She wants to start this new year because it's August. We'd be going into the first semester of her sophomore year. She's excited to see her friends again, but she just can't be around them. She tries as hard as she can to be normal. She avoids it. She pushes it down. She does anything she can to not use her power. She doesn't know what's happening, and she won't tell anyone.
Got it. So when she's missing practices, not that she's practicing her magic, it's that she likely had some sort of incident that
Oh, yeah.
happened at home. So now she has to take care of it, clean up the mess,
Yes. Or
prevent.
you could say, she showed up to practice and, someone on the top of the pyramid fell, right? But it wasn't necessarily her intention for that to happen, right? But something it was her fault, but she didn't want it to be. So she would run to the bathroom, she would go home, pretend to be sick, that kind of stuff. She's just causing mayhem and not wanting to.
Got it. So 8:30 p.m. on a Thursday night. Where do we find Jessica Fitch?
I would say 8:30 p.m. She's probably walking home from practice at this point. Summer practices, they're late.
Yeah.
Cheerleading, gotta gear up for football season. It's a big deal.
How did practice go? Were there any incidents, or was this one of the gleaming examples of just fine cheerleading?
I'm gonna say that it was, really bad at first because it's recent. So she's just starting. So it's been really bad. But today she kept her distance as much as possible. Spent a lot of time taking a water break, avoided as much as possible. And luckily there was no incidents, but, she's paranoid that at any moment something bad could happen. So
As you walk through town here from the college to your home, you pass by Charles Kevinson. You know Charles from his time coaching at Brightview. He knows you. You've run into each other before. And as a matter of fact, you've shared a sort of supernatural occurrence in the past. So you recognize each other as Charles, you are jogging by on your way back home. Jessica, you see him. Do you guys interact with each other or no?
I think from the first interaction with that little magical spark that sort of started the weirdness for Charles, he sees her kind of beelines 10, 15, 20 feet in an arc around her. He's like, oh, hey, Jessica, good evening. Stay safe, stay cool. And it's kind of wandering onwards as he does that part.
I'd say, oh, hey, coach, and I'd keep my head down and keep walking. Trying not to interact with anyone as much as possible.
Jessica, you hear a voice in your head
Great.
as Charles runs by, and it says, "Trip him."
Oh my god. Cool. I would probably cover my ears and start shouting no, stop.
Stop. What?
It gets
Okay?
louder. It gets louder. It says, "Trip him," and he calls back at you.
Oh my god. I would probably run the opposite direction as far away as possible. I'd run. I'd start booking it.
Charles, you hear her scream, "Stop, stop, stop," and then she runs away.
I get the feeling that she's being chased in like the feeling of chasing again, and I just like book it like 90 degrees, just like we gotta split and start like the using like that preternatural
Gotta
speed
split.
of like the +1 thing. So like it's just like panic and run kind of mode.
The camera's over the top of you all as she like tears off. You look back and forth, and then cut off at an angle, sprinting for the nearby mossy woods. Off you go. Jessica, you also reside in Shady Grove, this nice gated community. You enter in, and you don't feel any negative emotions about this place, but you do feel the negative emotions from that voice that was demanding you do something. You run in through the gates, you quickly get to your house, you swing open the white large door, slam it shut, and your mother calls out to you. She says, Jessica, how's practice?
Fine, Mom. And then I run into my room immediately. Gone.
She sighs. She's just so solitary these days, and she walks away. Yeah, you slam the door. What does your room look like?
I would say it is somewhat of a childhood-esque bedroom because, as I said, she went to boarding school, so she doesn't, like, live here a lot of the time. So it's very childlike, it has, like, some old stuffed animals, like, some of her old trophies, pictures of her and her young, childhood best friends, that kind of stuff.
Beanie Babies, yeah.
Beanie Babies everywhere, she doesn't really update it that much just because, when she's not at school, she's only here for the summer and now she's like going to college and she will, I think, live in the dorm. I'm not sure. So right now I would say she doesn't just because it's like kind of still summer, but she would probably intend to move into the dorm if possible, just because she wants to be with her friends and she did that last year and whatever.
Yeah, Jessica, you close the door, heaving some breaths, you sit down on your bed. The magic is getting worse. It's getting harder to control. It's jumping out from you. If you don't attempt to use it, it is used regardless. That voice that talked to you, you've heard it before. It's asked you questions. It's forced you to do things. When you don't do them, that loss of control gets exponentially worse. It just radiates from you. If you do it, if you say the thing it wants you to say, if you do the thing it wants you to do, you can control your magic better. But it's always something negative. You don't want to do those things. And you know that it's probably going to be worse now that you said no. Is there anything you're going to do to try to mitigate that?
I could. I would say she probably does some sort of like teenage thing where she turns the music up super loud and then just like screams, does some sort of like, she has to break something or something like that just to get it to stop.
Yeah, you take out some violent aggression here. You crank the music up. You know your mom is complaining to your dad right now at the way you're using your music, and he walked away in a huff. But you don't care. You crank the music. You grab a small vase in the corner of your room. You lift it up and you shatter it on the ground, and it bursts into 1,000 pieces. And you feel yourself get slightly calmer, getting that sense of control back. The magic isn't flaking off of you. You're feeling a little bit better about it. You spend the rest of the night presumably cleaning up your broken vase and then going to sleep.
Yeah, and I'd say, just like remnants of packing, making sure everything's together, and then I just go to bed.
You quadruple check that your bags are ready to move in. Move-in day is coming quick. Tomorrow is orientation. So students will be arriving. There's going to be some proclamations. There's going to be speeches given at the college, etc. So that'll be coming up soon, which will affect Charles Kevinson and you, Jessica. Thomas, you already graduated college, so it won't necessarily affect you, but it will be a large gathering of people.
Oh, don't worry. I've already thought of a way to be around the college a bunch that won't make me look like a dirty pervert. I'm on top of that.
And because of that, Connor Connors will likely also be at orientation. everybody settles in for bed for the night. Is there anything anybody does first? You've got about probably a solid 2 hours before you really need to crash. But is there anything you want to do before that happens?
Uh, sorry, go ahead.
I think just heading back to like the Kevinson family like land within Charming is probably like a fairly expansive spot, and like old agricultural areas that have been like maybe like repurposed into like parking lots and things too. But he's got like a little like his own personal like bungalow house that's kind of like on the distant area, kind of fairly enshrouded by woods, like
That's
distant from
awesome.
the rest of his family.
I was going to say, do you still have living family members, or was it just Charles at this point on that property?
Yeah, I think he's got parents that are living probably still, but they're like sometimes here. They usually like do business elsewhere in Mississippi,
Nice,
and
nice.
um, like they've been like kind of like within maybe like past couple months they've been like not been they've been delaying their return trips or something, and so like the house he has to go and like kind of do some tidying up at the main house just to like keep it furbished and not like too disused while they're gone.
Yeah, as you get to your ancestral lands, you do feel your heart rate slow back down to a normal rate. You take a few deep breaths and you walk into your offshoot house. You enter in. How's the furnishings in here? Is it like very nice? Is it pretty quaint? What are we looking at?
Uh, Kind of like a lodge house where it's sort of like got the outdoorsy feel to it, like wooden furniture and stuff, like log cabin kind of structure to a lot of it, with maybe some uh vinyl on the outside though, just for like insulation and protection and things.
Yeah, so
And
very nice, curated. That's definitely true. But rustic, curated, rustic, hospitable, things like that. Very nice.
mhm.
So you get into your home here. Are you what are you going to be doing? What are you getting up to before you crash?
Probably just doing some stretches, keeping the fans on like full blast, and just like opening up the freezer, getting a whole bunch of ice, just like pouring it on me, and then just like kind of like collapsing, like just to try to cool down. And then just like probably not even like going to the bed to sleep, but just like pulling out like a soft mat and just stretching out on the floor to like uh sleep, because he's been like kicking, tossing, turning and all that, and ending up off of his bed most nights anyway. So he's just like trying to be like it's slow and cool, and I don't have to worry about the fall.
As the weeks have passed since your, we'll call it monstrous transformation, you're changing since that's
Mhm.
occurred. It's gotten less and less comfortable to be in a thing like a bed or to be in the city limits, to interact with people. And it's been a little while now. And at this point, sometimes you just feel like going outside,
Mhm.
staying out there, sleeping under the stars. You don't necessarily have to have done that, but the urge is coming in stronger and stronger as
Yeah,
your transformation takes a deeper hold on you.
I went out there for a couple hours one night, and there were so many mosquitoes that I went inside, was horribly uncomfortable and itchy the entire night, and just like I guess probably had like some of that cortisone and stuff, and was just like like that split tear of like wanting to be outside, but like the uncomfortableness of that.
It scratched an itch, but now you gotta scratch more itches. I gotcha. Nice. So Charles, you pull out that mat and you go to sleep for the night, knowing you've got a fairly big day tomorrow. Is there anything else anybody wants to do before
Yeah,
hitting the
the
hay?
the camera zooms out, and sitting in a tree on Charles Kevenson's property is Thomas Puck with a big camera. He has taken two pictures with a big telephoto lens of Charles. He has a notebook out, and he is writing the magazine article that he is currently working on. I can't remember the name, I don't have the map up right now, but there is actual hiking trails, like a huge national park north of here. So he's writing some real puff, like, oh, the beautiful trails of the, whatever they are, the Miskatonic. I don't know, that's Maine. He's just writing that. He'll look up every once in a while, and then just go back to what he's doing. Charles has done nothing interesting. He just wanted to finally cross him off the list, and so now that it's like, what Charles doesn't strike me as too much of a late timer. Is it like 10 o'clock? Is it 9 o'clock? When does Charles hit the hay?
Probably, yeah, like 10:30 by now. Or when he's kind of unconscious and still kicking and turning, though.
So Thomas stays until like 11:30 just to make sure that this isn't a like, oh, he sleepwalks and kills people thing. And then just goes, well, you're off the list, buddy. He takes the same notebook he uses to write, flips it over and opens the back cover, and it's like names and lists and locations he has found in the area, and he crosses Charles' names off the list, crawls out of the tree, and starts walking back to his car off in the woods.
Now I will ask, does Thomas I could see Thomas keeping two separate notebooks where it's like potential threat versus potential ally. Clearly Charles has done something supernatural. Even though you don't think he's going around killing people, would Thomas think about contacting Charles? Or are you keeping it super low key? What are you thinking?
No, totally. So the reason that he has these, his network is they're the other people he's met that have had experiences similar to him. Thomas is not all he appears to be. He has his own sort of touch of the transmundane. And so when he meets people, he tends to assume they've had a similar experience. It gets more difficult the further from home he gets. It'd be kind of weird for him to walk up to Charles tomorrow and say, hey, did you ever almost get killed by a ghost? Like, that would be a weird conversation to have. So he'll probably run into him a couple of times in the next day. You know, he'll run into him at a coffee shop, and then he'll wait for the time that Charles has been grocery shopping for the last 2 weeks, and he'll run into him there. And then they'll start talking. Tends to be the way that he goes about it. But yeah, no, at this point, he's hoping that Charles is one of the people he can count as maybe having seen something strange. Get that record down, because see, there are about 400 composition notebooks in a big old that's way too many. There's like 20 in a backpack, in like a duffel that Thomas carries everywhere, because he keeps a incredibly detailed record of just about everything, that he can interact with. So he'll probably talk to him in the next few days, but for now he's off the threat list, and that's a win. Yeah, he'll start up his 1989 Ford Ranger, which is parked like 2 blocks down around the
Pretty
corner.
new vehicle for Thomas Puck. He's driving pretty good.
Yes, this is not a joke. I have in my notes, the gentleman whose car this is was killed by a supernatural event, and Thomas went, shame to let that car go to waste. And it was, listen, it's pre 9/11. Thomas walked into a random DMV and said, I bought a car, I need a new title. And they handed it to him. They went, all right, do you need a gun with it? And he started driving down the street. So yeah, he has an 89 Ford Ranger around the corner. He walks over to that, starts it up, and gets driving. And I imagine maybe another set of headlights lights up behind him another few minutes later. I don't know, that's up to Michael.
Wings over to Connor. Connor, what are you doing?
I was gonna say, as you're saying the picture in the tree, Connor's saying picture of the man in the tree.
click.
I just spit everywhere.
That's not what happens.
Use the windshield wipers.
No,
no, that's hilarious. I love it. No, that's great. I've got no problem. We zoom out to a car. Click.
Fair. Yeah, I don't know who's here, but I just see you taking pictures. But I leave much earlier because I know I have a long day, and I've been watching you in tree for a couple hours now. You haven't done anything. It's like, all right.
I have a magazine article to write. You're just sitting in a car.
The fun thing, I go back to where I think is kind of a safe area. I sleep in my car. That is one of the good things. My car.
Sorry, I sleep in my car. That's one of the good things.
That's rough.
My mobility ability. It says take two goods and one bad. Surveillance and sleeping space were the two goods. And slow is the bad. So I have a sleeping space in my car that I've been using.
Nice.
But yeah, I park it where I think it's a pretty decent spot, and just kind of go through notes. I look at a telegram that I got from headquarters. It's asking about some three-eyed frog, maybe? Question mark.
A maybe question mark at the end of the report is hilarious.
I was gonna say we joked around that you have a flower van. If you wanted to have like that comfortable sleeping place tag, it could be conditioned. Like it could have a like
yeah.
that runs.
Oh,
Yeah, you gotta have an air conditioner, otherwise you're not sleeping in that bad boy.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I will say it's not a flower van. It is janitor.
Oh, it's a janitorial
yeah.
services van. I love that.
Uh-huh.
That's great.
But yeah, I just kind of go through new notes, old notes, try and patch something. Again, I still don't believe in this weird shit. It's just like, all right, just so I'm just looking at stuff that like, all right, maybe the higher ups like this.
You just start sensationalizing your reports. Like, oh yeah, I saw something real wild today. So with Connor going to sleep, Jessica going to sleep after cleaning up her vase, Thomas heading back to his room, and Charles crashing on his floor mat, we're going to open after daybreak the next day. The party will separately arrive, likely before orientation completely begins, at Brightview College. Who would be the first one here? I think I could see Connor being the first one. As a janitor, you'd probably be required to set things up for the event. So you've got to fulfill those duties. So, Connor, you pull up to the school after getting a restless night in at least an air-conditioned van, but still not a very comfortable one. You pull up, turn off the car, and step out, and you see the head of facilities talking to the president of the college. The president of the college is named Brian Pierce. Brian Pierce is clearly vehemently stating something. His eyes are a little bit wide, drenched in sweat, like basically everybody is, but maybe a little bit more than you are used to seeing on him. You step out of the vehicle and you overhear Brian say, "Now, I'm telling you, I don't know how we're going to do it, but we can't allow anybody on campus right now. We need to postpone this. It's not. It's the last minute, but I need you to get on it. Just set up signs. Tell them to come back tomorrow. We just can't." And the head of facilities, Christopher Burns, responds and he says, "I mean, I guess I'll try, but I don't know. I don't think that's going to get everybody. People are still going to come on campus." He says, "I don't care. Just do something." And he turns on a heel and he walks back into the building, swings it open, closes it, and you hear a chunk as the front door to the main college building is locked. Christopher Burns turns and he sees you. This is technically your boss. And he says, "What's your name? What's your undercover name? I can't even introduce him to you like this."
I just go with Connor's.
Going off how incredibly fake sounding it is, Connors being the fake name.
He says, "Oh, Connor, something has happened in town. Sounds like one of our students has unfortunately been found dead. And it seems as if it was a murder. So we're going to need to shut down the campus so the police can do their job. So I'm going to need you..."
They're found here?
No, not found on campus, but nearby. The sheriff said to make sure everybody stays in. They don't want anything like this, a big event like this. So told us to shut it all down.
I don't know how you get the word out to everyone right now to not come.
That's what I just tried to tell the principal, the president, but he didn't want to hear reason. So,
all right.
I think, put up some signs. You see somebody walk up, tell them to get.
I'll have them off in hand. I'll get.
Get.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm gonna get to making some signage as well. I'll post up from Righteous Street down over there. You do from here over to that side. You get it. And he wanders away.
All right. I immediately drop what I'm doing, go sprint up to see the murder case.
Yeah, you.
Being named Mr. Burns in the second year of The Simpsons runtime has to suck shit for that
Brutal.
man. He is wading through those jokes every day.
Oh.
Up next, the next two arrivals would be Charles Kevinson and Jessica Fitch for different reasons. Jessica, you have been summoned here with the rest of the cheerleading crew to perform a cheer routine for the incoming students. Just a fun morale booster. That's what you've been practicing for the last few weeks in the summer. So today's the day. You've put in a bunch of hard work. You got to put it on. Charles, you are here to interact with students who are planning on joining the track team, making sure they know how to make their schedules around that and getting them all set up. So you both arrive at roughly the same time and you go the same way. You're going out to the multi-purpose track and field and stadium section, basically. It's none of those things in all of them, around the back of the college. You set up. I'm going to go with Charles first. Charles, do you have an office around here, or do you sort of just come in, do the work, and then go back home and use that as your office?
My office is probably part of the like supply shed area. It's like a little like subdivision within it. And so like you just gotta go past like the lacrosse equipment or something, and there's like an extra door, and there's just like a little small office in there. But I probably was like in there and maybe like bringing out some of the coolers with like those cylindrical coolers perhaps with like Brightview College plastered on them and a couple of tables to make sure everyone's got like well hydrated.
Yeah, you step into that office space with all these decorative and useful items set out, and you hear through a walkie-talkie, and it says, can anybody hear me? Anybody else here on campus?
Oh, this is Charles. I hear you. A little fuzzy through it though.
Hey, it's Chris Burns here. We're shutting down the event. We got to tell everybody, if you see anybody come on the field, you got to tell them go and get.
Gotcha. Okay. Are we starting back up tomorrow then?
We're hoping, but it might be a little bit longer than tomorrow. Just tell people that it's postponed indefinitely.
Okay. I guess we'll probably maybe put an announcement up on the billboards. See.
I'm getting out some signs. I've got Connors putting up some signs too, so that should get done pretty quick. Just tell anybody who comes out to the field down your way just to head on out, and we'll contact them with some an updated day.
Getting Sam
All right.
Elliott vibes from Christopher Burns. I'm gonna say it.
Christopher Burns was played by 1991 Sam Elliott. Yeah.
Oh damn!
You didn't expect that one, did you?
Just
Yeah. You get that call over the line. He didn't really give any information besides just it needs to get shut down. So he hangs up that walkie-talkie call, and you step out. As you step out, you see the cheerleaders beginning to assemble on the field, beginning their practice. Jessica, you are here. You're on campus. You are in uniform. What does your uniform look like? What are the school colors? What are we working with?
I am going to take some inspiration for the classic, cult classic Glee. I'm gonna say they're red.
All right,
the
red and white.
the little
right? That's what
icon, the little icon that I recolored. Red and white, baby. Let's
Let's
go.
just if you just picture Quinn Fabray, Santana, picture them in your mind.
we could picture Jessica Fitch as the actress who plays Quinn Fabray. That's totally doable.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I like that.
Save the
So-
cheerleader, save the
Her name
world.
Diana something. I don't remember her name.
So Jessica, you are doing some practice runs of the routine here. Where are you on the pyramid?
I would say previously, last year she was top of the pyramid. That was her. Okay, she was that girl. But since she's been missing practices, her position is on the line. She's no longer at the bottom of the pyramid. She's got or the top of the pyramid now. She's closer to the bottom now because she's missed practices and she's a flake now, and that has really caused a detriment to her standing.
Yeah, Jessica, you are angling down the pyramid. You are down there, and the negative feeling you get knowing you are going to be in front of people, going off this routine, knowing that you should have been on the top of the pyramid, but whatever's going on is making it so you're not that anymore. That feeling of envy and shame washes over you. Roll
Ooh,
a plus weird for me.
oh my god, I get to roll. Yay. Okay. Plus weird. Yes, of course. Oh, I got 7 plus 2. That's 9.
7 plus 2, 9. You feel that same magical energy start to force its way out of you, empowered by neglecting the wish of the voice in your head from the day before, quieted somewhat by your ability to smash a vase and try and keep that violence at bay, but nevertheless, it is forcing its way out. I'm going to give you an option. You can either inflict harm on someone here, you can feel that coming out, or you can reveal yourself
Whoa.
slightly to the assembled crowd here. It will be obvious that you are doing something weird, or you can let it slip out and it's going to hurt someone.
Oh god, I think that at this point she's still stressed about it, and she would, if she makes a little misstep on the bottom of the pyramid and it comes tumbling down a little bit, I feel like that could definitely be what happened.
So you step out and you're going to inflict some harm here. That's the
Yeah, and
the vote.
she'll pretend it was an accident, you know what I mean? But it wasn't.
Yeah, you feel the power push through your hands as you are on this person's back. Your hands are on their back, and it lances through. And as it does, you pull to the side and you collapse the pyramid. So as she yelps out in pain, simultaneously everybody collapses. And everybody brushes it off as a mistake here. Roll manipulate someone. That is plus
Oh, how do I
charm.
do that? Plus charm. Okay.
And I'm going to give you a +1 because you collapsed the pyramid.
I got 11. And plus
Ooh!
2 charm.
Wow!
And then plus 1.
14.
Yeah,
I just want to say that that's better than I've ever rolled in D&D. I just want to
it's just right
It's a
off
sign. Jessica starts to hover off the ground several inches.
No, this lance of magical energy hits the girl below you, and then at the same moment you tumble to the side, and you make it seem completely like she had a muscle spasm. It collapsed the pyramid, and everybody came down. It wasn't your fault at all. But that girl that you hurt, she vomits.
No, she's fine.
And she walks away. She stumbles towards the bleachers and sits down. Her name is Taylor Finney's. Taylor Finney's is a freshman here. Well, technically, she'll be going into her sophomore year, but she is one of the youngest members of the cheerleading squad, and she has been ensickened by you.
Freshman top of the pyramid, she was going to get whacked either way. Somebody was going to
Yeah.
hit her in the knee
I
with a
was
pipe
coming
on her way to
for
her
that,
car.
no matter what.
It was worth it that you did it anyways. Yeah. As it collapses, Thomas Puck, what are you doing here? What's your cover as you approach the college? You see, there's not really anybody assembled, but you do see the pyramid of cheerleaders around the back of the school. So you see them.
Thomas
What are you
Thomas is
doing?
kind of cutting a diagonal across the school. He's been going to the library, which is also, thankfully, kind of a. I imagine in a town this small, having the college available, the college library is also the historical society, is also like all these records and stuff. And so Thomas has been living in that building because it's everything that he needs to do the kind of work that he likes to do. And his cover is great. He needs internet. He needs to be able to, do his writing and send it off. I truly don't know if 1991 is too early for a blog, but if it isn't, he has something like that. And so he's been able to sort of have a good reason to be around. He was looking for a reason to be around because he was following Charles Kevinson around, but has now written that off. I imagine he has like a paper cup of coffee in his hand and is crossing the campus towards the library. He was like a little too early to get nicked by security, so he is about to just go up to a locked door and have nothing to be able to do. He looks over. It sounds like by the choices Nicole made that the magic wasn't detectable, so all I see is a bunch of cheerleaders fall over, right?
It would not be detectable to a mundane person. I will say you can roll to read a bad situation here. Roll plus sharp, and there's a
Sure.
chance you'll be able to spot it.
Yeah, let's see. Again, I like that for my guy because sharp isn't my sort of mainline stat. I rock weird a little bit better than that, but we'll see. Terrible, but I mark experience.
Yay!
That's a 5. So that's going to be a hard choice price to pay. I get the strangest feeling security is about to come ask me what I'm doing on campus, but I'm going to mark a point of experience.
Yeah, you look over and you see the cheerleader pyramid collapse. You probably snort a little bit to yourself, like that's crazy. You then turn, and you see a young man locking up the library doors. He turns to you.
As sort of jogging up.
Oh, hey, how you doing, bud? What's up?
Hey, are you closing up? If you're gonna head out for breakfast or something, could I sneak on by you before you go?
Yeah, the thing is, I was just told that I had to shut down parts of the campus. Are you a
Yeah.
student? He holds his hand out to shake your hand.
No. I reach out and shake his hand and go, no, my name is Thomas Puck. I'm a writer in the area. I write, I've been writing about some of the local trails and whatnot, and your wonderful establishment has enough internet and local files to make sure that all my P's and Q's are in order. So I've been sort of setting up shop here. But so you're going to be shut down for the day. Did something happen locally? Thomas, a well of excitement. All the research in the world doesn't make up for somebody saying we have to close down the whole campus. Thomas is like, oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah, you introduce yourself. He says, "Oh yeah, my name's William Graham. Nice to meet you. I'm the student body president at the college. So I try and meet everybody
Damn.
who's been hanging around on campus. So great to see you."
They go, wait a minute, you're the student body president. They give you keys?
Yeah, I mean, right now they do.
That's a forward-thinking
They,
institution.
So the thing is, it sounds like one of our students might have been killed, unfortunately, and they don't know what or potentially who did it. So they shut down the campus for the day, telling everybody, hit the road, come back another day. So
Student killed right before. Now, point of order, is it just before graduation or just before commencement?
just before commencement.
Just before
so we're about to get
commencement. I
started.
was like,
yeah.
oh, that's such a tragedy. That's deeply unfortunate. Did you hear anything? I mean, I'm a journalist mainly by trade. I can't help but get my hackles up in such sorts of, deleterious and unfortunate situations. Did you hear anything more? I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I heard that it was a student, a junior. Her name was Janice Cornwall. I don't know for sure that it's true, but that's what I've heard.
All right, all right.
And they're saying it seems like it was a person that did it. It wasn't like an accident, nothing like that. So some sort of murder.
Jeepers. Well, I know it's a small town, but you certainly do get your information around fast. Although I guess you know what they say: telephone, telegraph, tell a student, somebody will hear it. Well, I'm gonna head off back to my truck then. I mean, if listen, papers like to buy articles about this and that, but if I can nail an article about somebody who passed away, they tend to like those a little bit more, and I will turn around and jog out and back. This is kind of the break in this for Thomas if something like this has happened. As he's running, he takes out his notebook where Charles was crossed out and like double crosses it because he saw him last night and knows he wasn't there.
Yeah, as you turn and you start crossing out notes, he says, "Oh, Mr. Puck, if you need any files
Yes.
or anything, I can grab them for you, bring them out to you wherever you're at. I'd be happy to grab you something. You got a list, but it seems like you're out of here, so just let me know."
I'll jog over and go, you don't need to worry about taking it to the house or anything, but I'll tell you what, because I was planning on coming by later anyways when it opens up, and I will tear the bottom of a page out, and I will hand him a note, and I go, it's for an expose that I'm writing on some stuff, and I'm going to do, the paper is information about fires and arsons in the area because of the temperature
Got it.
jump and some of the other stuff. I go, so if you wouldn't mind, if you've got to be in there either way, set some of that aside. If not, please, no extra work on my account. I'll be back in the area looking these things up, either way. But I do appreciate it.
Yeah, he claps you on the shoulder and says, "I got you," and waves you off.
I'll give you a ride as credit as I turn and jog off.
Yeah, you take off that direction. Charles and Jessica, you make eye contact as Jessica, you are brushing yourself off from your tumble. Charles, you've been given an order to kick everybody off campus.
Yeah, I sort of sigh. I'm not taking it too like imperative yet. So I just like pick up one of the uh coolers that I just filled up with like some of like the classic, I guess, Brightview College like Kool-Aid flavor. It's maybe like some sort of like weird blue raspberry or something.
Ugh.
Oh wait,
And, like,
wait, no.
there's,
If
like,
the
a
if the
fresh-
college colors are red and white, they've been stuck in
Oh, yeah.
fruit punch hell for 10
Oh,
years.
God.
Nothing but basic Kool-Aid.
Brutal.
Yeah. So it's like fruit punch in there, maybe like added some of like the seltzer water or key lime or something, and then a whole bunch of ice. And it's like I've got like I don't want to drink all of this, so like I know the cheerleaders are out of there, so I'm gonna like bring that over and be like, all right, everyone, we got orders, gotta clear out of campus today. Fill up your water bottles, please take as much as you can, stay cool. Jessica, hope you're staying safe. Everyone, make sure to kind of stretch and all of that and go through the routine in your head. And I think might be a couple days until we open up campus again.
The captain of the cheerleaders, Emily Harris, says, why do we have to leave campus? We've got a whole routine set up for orientation. Is it just the cheerleaders being asked to leave? What's going on?
I think they're shutting the whole campus down or something, but not sure if it's like too big or if they're just like needing to kind of like do some extra preparations or safety measures perhaps, but they wanted everyone off campus today.
Is there something we should know about?
They didn't tell me, but I can always it was Chris Barnes who's been kind of like spreading the word.
All right. I mean, I guess if we have to go, then we will. But yeah, I mean, I guess sure. And she like grabs her bag and she says, "Okay, everybody. Maybe sometime soon we'll be able to come back and perform. I know you've been working hard on it, so you know."
The park might still be open today. I don't think they're closing or anything over there, so hopefully you all can kind of like find a spot in the fields there.
That's a great idea. All right, yeah. You know what, everybody? we're not going to be done today. Just because they said campus is closed, we're going out and we're performing. We're going to do something either for ourselves, for the park community, whatever. We're going out and we're going to practice. All right?
That's the spirit. Take care of you all.
Yeah, the cheerleading squad begins to walk off. Jessica, you've just had a lance of power pass through you. Are you going to follow them to the park, or are you going to try and make we'll say a stealthy exit from the group?
If I'm feeling well enough, since I already kind of got it out, I might follow them. But I might be like, oh, guys, I don't know, like, that fall kind of hurt. Like, I feel like I just need to go home and rest. I don't think it's safe. I don't know if you guys want to go practice, that's fine. But I feel like, we kind of need to go home and rest after that.
Yeah, roll plus charm.
9 plus 2. 11.
An 11, yeah, they say, Emily responds and she's like, oh yeah, sure. I mean, that tumble is pretty rough. Just go on. We'll function down a man. Sure. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully for orientation.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. You take off around the side of the building, the opposite way that they were heading, and you see the large school bulletin board posted on the wall. And you see a few things on there. There's, commencement begins on August 7th, etc., things like that. And then next to that, you do see a handmade missing persons form stapled up there that is looking for Janice. You see that posted up there, fresh. It's been sitting there maybe a day. And then right over the top of that is a big hand-drawn sign that says, no orientation today. New date will be announced. Go home by order of the sheriff. And that's all it says.
Oh, God. Did I know her?
Yeah. Small campus. Very small. Basically everybody that goes to school here.
Oh, jeez. I would say I would, call or text my friend, but that's not really a thing.
No.
So I would probably be kind of creeped out by that. Probably not a good feeling on top of everything that's happening. So I don't love that.
Yeah. We're going to give a quick second here. We're just got a bit of a tech issue, but Jessica, so one more time, Jessica, where are you headed right now? Are you heading back home?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, you turn the corner and you see Thomas Puck running off towards his car. Have you run into each other before, Jessica and Thomas? I don't think so.
No, I don't believe so.
No, sorry, I was checking something with the VOD and I got caught.
No, that's all right.
Oh no, he's gonna take away my experience point. No, I don't believe so. Thomas is very aware of his presence as a 28-year-old on a college campus, and so has been avoiding students to the best of his ability. The fewer questions that people ask, the less he has to lie, and so he's been trying to avoid people. So I imagine this is one of the first few times. Although I guess I have been stalking Charles, so I'm aware of Miss Fitch.
Yeah, Jessica, you see Thomas essentially sprint by to get to his vehicle. Roll me plus sharp, Jessica.
Oh, running in those big ass hiking boots that thunk 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 down the road. That's horrendous.
I got a 3. That's right.
Mark experience.
Yeah, Mark
What does
experience
that
on
mean?
that. So on the front of your character
Yeah, I
sheet,
see it.
yeah, Every time you fail a roll, you get to mark an experience point. Monster of the week, baby.
Let's go.
Yeah, mark that in pencil as well.
Oh well, yeah.
If not, I'll just reprint
Thank
the
you.
sheet.
That's what I'm talking about. Thank you. Okay, so a mark was just made in pen for sure. All right, that's great. Yeah, Thomas is at like a good dash. He's not the toughest SOB, but you know he does hike for a living, so he's he can go for a while before he gets tired. So he like runs by, looks over, sees this girl, and then turns back forward, sprinting up to his truck. Just fumbling with the keys to clunk, get the door open, and get on the road.
Thomas, you slam the door shut, peel out, and you get back on the main road. We cut back to Connor. Connor, you are approaching the scene of the crime here. It is not hard to find it. You hear a siren blaring down a ways in this very small town. You pull up, I'd say like one street over, so you're not spotted by the sheriff investigating.
Sir, I'm a good distance off. I have something that helps me here.
Oh, nice.
It's my weapon. My serious weapon. I took a sniper rifle. So I'm
Jesus
just using
Christ. Yeah, that's not going
I'm
to be
just using my.
suspicious.
I'm just using my scope.
Oh, I love that. Just slide the scope
You
off
just
the top
cast
and
it,
sit
yep.
in the parking
Yeah.
lot.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not aiming the gun. at
That's what I was
everyone.
saying. That's crazy.
That's a wild turn. It is not. I mean, it's 1991. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, you took the scope off, and are you posted up like on top of a building here? What do you?
Yeah,
Where are you trying
building
to
a
get?
tree, something like that.
I'm going to say to get the best vantage point, it's going to take a little bit of effort. That would be on top of a building. You climb a tree, you're not going to have to roll anything. You want to get the best view, the best like setup. You're going to have to probably act under pressure to get into a building and go up
Alright,
top.
So cool.
Yep.
Sweet. All right, that is 3 plus 5, so 8 plus 2, so 10.
10. You walk into it's a like a large coffee shop. You enter in, you place an order for a coffee, and the barista turns around and starts pouring it out. And as she does that, you open up the back door and walk up the steps, and you get on top of the building, unawares of the barista, who turns around, sees you're not there, and just assumes you walked out. You get up top, you use the scope, and you're looking down. Immediately, you see a couple of cars pulled up, blocking the street from the main access point. The sheriff is behind one of them, looking down at a small form crumpled on the ground with blood poured out. With your scope, you're going to be able to see quite a bit here. Using one of your tools here is going to help you out. Roll plus sharp with +1 forward for right now with the use of a tool.
All right. Sharp. All right. That is going to be. That's a 9.
A 9. In that case, you get to hold 1. What happened here? What sort of creature is it? What can it do? What can hurt it? Where did it go? What was it going to do? What is being concealed here?
Here, sorry. Can you say those again?
What happened here? What sort of creature is it? What can it do? What can hurt it? Where did it go? Where was it? What was it going to do? What is being concealed here?
All right. I'm pretty sure I know what happened here. Someone was killed.
What?
Seems like murder.
Could be.
So I think I gotta go with where did it go?
Yeah, absolutely. You are looking around the scene of the crime here, and you are on the outskirts of town. You look around and you see that clearly this is a young woman who has been stabbed to death. There are multiple puncture wounds across her body, and you look up and you see that there is a burned out like tire mark nearby, So whoever did this, it seems likely to you that they killed this woman, jumped in their vehicle, burned out, and drove away deeper into the town proper, which gives you a fair amount of information. This is something that has, well, for you, this is a person who is driving a vehicle who murdered somebody and drove away. So it seems if you were a monster hunter, this isn't a werewolf. They had control over their vehicle. This is something with some mental faculties. But they headed deeper into the town. That's where they went from here.
Okay. So they went more central. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm just writing
Great.
that in my notebook.
We jump over now to Thomas Puck, who has also pulled up nearby. How are you getting into the situation here? What are you looking at?
Thomas has parked around the corner. He is rifling through a bag. He goes through a couple of different press IDs. These are all legitimate. It's just most of them are expired. He takes out one of the only ones that isn't. It's for WMCR 91.1 FM, which is a less than legitimate radio station that his friend Scott Green does in fact own and operate. So he does technically work for it. It is also how he gets a couple of other things done. So he throws that badge on, takes a big mag light and sticks that in his belt. Is about to step out before he turns around and grabs a little reporter's notebook and a pencil. So that he can look somewhat legitimate. And then it's 91. So I think he does grab a big like cassette clink recorder and hopping out of the car starts to jog around the corner, putting this like press thing on. He's imagining he's going to get stopped pretty quick. This ruse isn't the best. His response time's a little impossible, but he's trying to think of a lie, but is way too interested in getting to the case before that happens. So he comes barreling around the corner.
You barrel around and you essentially break the police line that is just a few cars that the sheriff commandeered to block off the road. You like slide between them and you walk up with all these forms in hand. The sheriff looks up and he says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! How can I help you, sir?"
Hello there. My name is Thomas Puck. I'm here with WMC on 91.1 FM. We had reports that there was an incident and that it had an interrupted commencement, so I was just trying to get a couple of answers and maybe a question or two out to somebody who could help. I'd be glad to talk to you or... And I look around expecting to see a deputy or similar person. Do I even see like a state trooper? Like
no.
And I go,
it is this dude.
I was about to say, if you don't want me to waste your time, I could talk to somebody else, but it seems that you and I are the only ones here to have this conversation. Could I know you're obviously in the middle of something. Could I ask you a couple of questions?
Let me see your badge real quick and roll to manipulate someone.
I hand over my badge.
And you'll do that with a +1 because you're utilizing a press badge.
Yes, which will represent Scott Green, one of my network. He also runs a tabloid that I publish in. Damn it! Wait, you said an additional +1.
Yep.
Woo! Oh! It cost me the experience. It's a 7.
7.
That was a dicey roll. So he picks it up, and on my side, I look forward, and my eyes widen as I see like the laminate is peeling off the back. And like I could see that all the holographics on the back are coming with it, and I'm like, yeah, no, take a good look at it.
He looks back and he goes, "Yeah, all right, I'll tell you what, come with me. No pictures."
Nope,
That's
absolutely. And think about it this way: you can give me the answers you need to calm down anybody who might hear about it. The earlier we can get the news out, the earlier we can cool things off. And I just sort of step forward with my pad and go, "I can't believe that worked," under my breath as he like lets me into the crime scene. I let out a sigh of relief. It's harder doing this work in cities where they just tell you to leave.
Yeah, he's overburdened and doesn't have very much time and would like to control the narrative.
And
he
that's
says, "All right, come on in."
The 4th press badge he's ever seen. So I
Yeah.
move around the corner, notebook in hand, and go, "So, did somebody call in this report, or do you have any idea of what happened?" I'm looking around, I see the tire marks, I see a glint come off the top of a building, and I'm like, I wonder what that is, as I turn back forward to what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't exactly a busy part of town, but you can see that there are a couple businesses. There's some residential house zoning here. We got a call as the deli over there opened up, and they came through. One of their stocking boys here opened up the door to the front and turned around and saw that with the sun rising, some basically nobody else could see. Janice here, gone.
Janice, all right, that's I mean, that is absolutely horrible. Can I say? I mean, I don't mean to make you say something you can't be confident in just yet. What the nature of the injuries? Do you think this is a mugging gone wrong? Do we have a single unfortunate bullet casing spent on the scene, or did this poor girl suffer a more hack and slash attempt on her life?
You walk up as you're asking those questions. He's investigating the body while he's talking to you.
Sure.
He's looking around. And he says, "Well,
turn the corner. Oh, good God!"
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what it looks like to me is there's at least 24 stab wounds.
All right.
It looks like it was just a typical blade, 4 or 5 inch deep lacerations. Maybe it was a drug deal gone wrong. Maybe it was a jealous ex.
For sure. I mean, I would imagine, one of them more likely than the other, from what I hear. Janice was I certainly, when her name was introduced to me earlier today, it's a shocking coincidence. I met a young man who was talking to me about it. Hence the lead that led me here. I note down that he said that she was stabbed, and then he described slicing wounds instead of puncture wounds. So I do duck around my notebook to confirm. Is there a mix of the two? Or is he seeing things and speaking like as he is seeing things?
He is saying words that sound accurate, but aren't. In fact, there were puncture wounds. There's no lacerations.
Good. It gives me a good impression of what the local sheriff is going to be like in the rest of my time here. And I go, with another little look of relief. Thomas is like, oh, thank God he's a moron. I go, okay, well, all right. Take down a couple of notes. Do you have a lot of, I can't imagine, and, there's nothing charming about drug crime. Do you have, I look over, that's on a DARE poster over my shoulder. I go, oh, that's funny. Is that something that you worry about in these parts much?
I mean, with college kids, sometimes they bring it in from out of town, but otherwise it's not really, an epidemic here. But no accounting for the college students, that's why I figure with her being a Brightview student, maybe something like that.
So I take it, if I could be candid with you, sir, I am a man of the press, but I still want to do my service for the local community. I take it you would like this to be a jealous ex that drove off in the middle of the night rather than a crime wave involving drugs creeping up through the sewers of your fine town?
Yeah, I mean, preferably, we got to figure out who her associates are, people she spent time with, anybody who's seen her recently. Just to get to the bottom of it. I got a list here of people to contact. And he does have it open in his hand. The list is right there.
I'll try to peek, the top name off the list. I'm also I kind of just want to switch gears to looking around the crime scene. I would love to, I'd love to roll an investigative mystery if I could.
Yeah, so first I'm going to say roll plus cool for act under pressure.
Oh shit! Now that I am bad at. Thomas is sweating. He is swearing under his breath. When I say he swears under his breath, that's out loud. Like, he does do that. I have -1 cool. Thomas just isn't good at. This is the thing that he just can't quite do. When he has a thought, he has a nasty habit of saying the damn thing. Let's go! 10 -1, 9.
Nice.
That's what we like to see. He is managing to keep it remarkably cool despite the terrible heat.
Yeah, with that roll, what was the total there?
10 -1, a 9 in total.
9. With a 9, you have a choice here.
Yes.
He's getting ready to usher you away, seemingly giving you some of the information you need, you coming up with a story to spin. You can either look at his notebook or look closer at the body before being pushed away.
So what I would like to do, if I could, and it's all right if this is too much of a stretch, this is sort of ideal. I'd like to use one of my I mentioned Thomas's own strangeness that hasn't yet get to come up. If I could just get a hand, if I could just brush up against the arm of the body here, I can act under pressure to use the sensitive weird move, which when you open your brain to the psychic environment. So he can basically, like, it's vague. This is not like a fully fledged superpower or anything. But like if he touches something that was at a crime scene or something with strong emotions associated with it, Thomas can get sometimes a couple of flashes of it. Doesn't always go well. Sometimes all he gets is a nosebleed and a headache. But every now and again it works pretty well.
Yeah. So that's the choice you're making here is go for the body.
Yeah, I mean, if I can just, while I'm looking around, pretend to drop a pencil, just something like that,
Yeah.
that would make me happy as a clam.
Yeah, you drop your recorder. You go to turn it off. You say,
God.
"Got it, thank you." Click, and as you press down, it just drops it in your hand. You go, oh, and you lunge for it to grab it. And as you do that, you bend over and touch her on the shin
And I'm
lightly.
rolling plus weird, and this can go fairly poorly. So let's see. Oh shit! Damn it! God damn. Well, it's a point of experience. 2, 4, 6, just under a mixed success. On a miss, your brain makes contact with something dangerous. I reach down and grab the body, and immediately, hoping to get impressions and signs of what happened, instead I get, I'll hand it to you after, I get like flashes of the feeling of being stabbed. And so it is this reeling sensation at first.
You reach down and make contact, hoping to get a positive impression, something to hint at what happened here, what's going on. And instead, the heat you've been experiencing, pumping off of the asphalt from the sun, it ratchets up to 1,000,000, where it was once an 8. You feel your skin burn away, and you pull your hand back. And you grab the recorder and you stumble backwards. And that is all you get.
Okay, so whatever I made contact with was made out of fire. I'll feel better about my instinct to look into arsons and burn down buildings in the recent past and make a note in my journal. As I catch it, I'm heavily sweating from this feeling, and thankfully I can kind of write it off as being nervous. And I go, oh, that would have been bad. Oh, goodness, thank you. And I stop my recording on the cassette and set it off to the side, tucking it under my arm. I go, well, you've been certainly more than helpful. Terrible manners. I did not catch your name. I am Thomas Puck. Sheriff, could I get your, I suppose your nom de plume?
Yeah, Sheriff Joe Woodard.
Holy shit. Alrighty, Sheriff. Joel or Joe?
Joe.
Joe Woodard. Powerful stuff. All right, well, thank you very much, Sheriff Joe. I'll just take the time to note, Sheriff, Joe Woodard, is he a younger man, older man?
He's roughly in his 40s. You're not getting anything deeper than that, so middle-aged.
Well, I was just wondering, I didn't see any signs for a competing sheriff in upcoming elections, so I was wondering how popular old Joe is, but he seems to be just fine. And I say, well, thank you very much. Turning around the corner, I will whip off my press badge and stick it in my pocket, take a couple more notes, and be a little angrier that I can't get into the library. I have enough to go on now. And I will remember, I do know one person who might have keys to that damn library. And Thomas Puck goes looking for Charles Kevinson.
And at the same time, Connor, you've observed Thomas roll up to the scene, pull out the press badge, throw it on, and walk up here. You haven't had your eye on Thomas Puck.
Yeah.
That's not accurate. You've been watching Thomas because Thomas has been doing something strange here. I got the people mixed up for a second. Connor, you saw Thomas roll up to the scene, walk up and start talking to the sheriff, stumble over the body. You saw all of that happen. What do you do?
I do I see him touch the body?
Roll me. I'm gonna say plus cool.
Plus cool.
Yeah, you're keeping yourself from just running down there and finding out what's going on. You're taking a deep breath to follow.
All right, plus cool. That's +2. That is 3 plus 3, 6 plus 2, so an 8.
An 8. You see him touch the body. Absolutely, you do. And it's feeling less and less tenable for you to stay up here observing as Thomas
Yeah.
makes contact with a dead
He
body.
may have even seen,
And then, like, recoils
Yeah, I was about-
instantly.
this like unnatural heavy sweat that came over him probably as well.
Yeah. Saw that, saw him stumble backwards, and then quickly egress.
Yeah. I mark that as weird. And I'm going down.
Our nation's FBI, ladies and gentlemen. Weird question mark.
No, not quite the right- weird exclamation point.
Weird exclamation.
Super
There you go.
weird.
That's why they pay you the big bucks.
Yeah, I'm going to make it. I'm not. I'm going to talk to him about that now. Mostly asking why such dead bodies.
Oh, so like while I'm I'm taking my tag off, putting it in the other bag in the truck, and you walk up to the driver's side window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Connor, you walk up, clunk, clunk,
Oh,
right on the window.
Jesus. You see that he has this big mag light and like, oh gosh, puts it down, rolls down the window and goes, hello?
Hey there, friend. I couldn't help but notice you're kind of snooping around that body a little close there.
Well, I'm so sorry. I reach into my bag and I grab the wrong press ID, put it back, grab the right one, and I go, well, I'm a journalist with WMCR 91.1 FM. We try to keep our ear to the ground and our nose to the wind. I had heard some trouble was going on in the area, wanted to get first-hand account just as quick as possible, and old Sheriff Joe Woodard was more than accommodating. Did you want to make a statement? I'd gladly take a note down if there was something that you saw, and I will flip to a new page in my notebook.
No statements. Just
Gotcha.
just let's not touch dead bodies anymore. And also, I think how's that blog of yours going?
That's so interesting that you ask that, and the truck starts. And throws it in reverse. If you'd like to stop him, you're more than welcome to, but Thomas is going to tear ass if you do not.
Unfortunately, that's a great question. You start the truck up, throw in reverse, and that's where we're going to end tonight's episode.
There we go. Oh my goodness, what a blast.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the new season of The Party Makes Things Worse, The Prince of Charming. We
just wanna
hope you
say,
join us.
I love the name. We didn't get to say it at the beginning. It's a hilarious name. I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
We hope you can join us next week. Same great channel, same great time. You can follow us on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitch. You can also follow us on TikTok, where we post funny memes and content with informative information, all that stuff, etc. Besides that, you can catch our streams on YouTube and Twitch on Sundays at 7 to 10 p.m., where we play Game Masters, Masters of Games. Currently, we're playing Baldur's Gate 3, where we are the Big Boy Squad. We're trying to save Halcyon, and we're going to run deep through that entire game as quick as possible. Other than that, we also stream Game Master. No, I already said Game Masters.
You
we
got
also
this.
stream
DM Writers Room's on Thursday.
DM Writers Room. Wow, it's been a while, huh? DM Writers Room. We do that one every Thursday. That is 8 to
7:30
10?
normally. 7:30 to
7:30.
8:30, sometimes 9. We've
Yeah,
been a little
7:30 to
inconsistent
9.
on that one, but we're back on. It's great for any intrepid DMs. I do want to mention in chat right now, Klepto Cabin, I apologize that you arrived late. Please watch the VOD once we are done. Feel free. You can also watch Summer Camp Slasher. That is our other Monster of the Week game that we just finished. A little bit of a mixed cast on that one, so that might be a little harder to follow than Spencer's beautiful mastercraft that we'll be living in for a few weeks here.
But those are all the updates. So catch our old streams. This is session 0.5. So we're going to be jumping into session 1 proper next week. But we've introduced the characters. We got the cast all set. And we are going to be exploring Charming Mississippi a bit more next week. So like, comment, subscribe, follow us, go on to all of our socials, etc., etc., etc. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.